Hey everybody, welcome back to Taz's Wig Closet at Wig Studio One, here to help you win at wigs. Today I have a presentation on a brand new Tressallure style for 2022. This one is called Flawless Waves. It's also in a brand new blonde that I couldn't wait to get my hands on, which is 613-1001R18. We're gonna break it down and I'm gonna share my yikes moment on this style. I purchased this style at Wig Studio One. You can find it by going below this video, expand the description box, locate the product link. That link will take you out to the Wig Studio One website where you can explore this style in more detail, along with the pricing and all of the color options. If you have any questions for us, please reach out to support@wigstudio1.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the Wig Studio One YouTube channel. We have over 12 ladies providing content for that channel, lots of different face shapes, colors. We're bound to hit every single style and color for your needs. So be sure to check that out and subscribe. Also check us out on Facebook. We have a private Facebook group called Wig Studio One Wig and Topper Support Group, as well as a very active Instagram page. Flawless Waves is a short to mid-length shag style bob cut with lots of texturized beach wave and a really practical bang. But first, let's unpack this brand new color, 613-1001R18. So this is a really nice addition to the blonde palette by Tressallure. There's quite a few unrooted lighter blondes in that line, but the rooted blondes did not have a really pale option. So let's check this one out because I think this one fits the bill. So what you're looking at here in terms of a base color is a 613, which is a nice baby gold platinum. It's just a really fine, warm blonde overall, but it's so heavily highlighted with almost a pure white that it's really hard to pick up any warmth. But you can see it peeking through, and that does offer some dimension. So this one overall is a really pale, neutral to cool color. And then that has a light to medium brown root. Now the R18 root really kind of gives us a storyline, doesn't it? When I think of an R18 for rooting color, I'm thinking it's a light brown or even a dark ash blonde. What I'm noticing here though is that it is an ashy color, which is good, but it is much darker than your typical 18, I believe. So I'm really thinking this is light leaning medium ash brown. Okay, now any root color at all is going to give great contrast because of the very pale nature of the main body of this color. And we're going to take a look at this outside as well, because a lot of times the lighting as well as the contrast that is accentuated by the camera can really accentuate the darkness of the root. So we're going to take a look at this outside. So let's really drive through these specs real quick so we can get to my observations on this style, because that's the good stuff, right? That front piece is about 3.5 inches. The fringe can be swept off to either direction. It's very wispy and light. It's texturized and layered to the gills, which is a good thing when it comes to a shag style like this. It really, really works. Overall, the style is about 11, and if you kind of stretch it out, maybe up to 12 inches. And it weighs about 3.5 ounces, so it does feel pretty lightweight on the head. And it features the Tressallure open cap, so that keeps the price point down quite a bit. Plus the way this style is laid out and how the bangs are structured, you get wonderful coverage and realistic look without having to have a lot of higher priced monofilament features. Okay, so I do have to give you a big caution on this style, and that is if you are PERMATEASE averse, turn around and go the other way. This style has so much what I consider unnecessary PERMATEASE that I just feel like it looks like a big bubble on my head. Now that was my yikes moment that I had when I first took it out of the box and put it on. There was so much PERMATEASE and lift and volume right at the top that I was really perplexed on how to work with it, really, because I'm really good at getting in there with my hands, the heat from my hands, sort of shrinking down that PERMATEASE just with heat from my hands, and it just wasn't working really well for me. So I had to set about how to balance this volume for my face shape. Now we're all different out there and we have different preferences. Some are very PERMATEASE averse, some really like PERMATEASE. Now I did speak with Marlene from Marlene's Wig and Chat Studio. She's also a reviewer for the YouTube channel. She has reviewed this piece in 2 colors. And as we were talking about the PERMATEASE, she said that one particular piece that she had more PERMATEASE than the other. So what that tells me, and I will link her video below so you can check that out, but what that tells me is that you're going to see a variance with the PERMATEASE on this style. This particular one happened to have a lot of PERMATEASE. We're going to go into that here in just a moment in styling because I want to show you what I did to help balance this volume on the top. It may still appear to be really big on me. In fact, when I look in the mirror, I think it's really high. I'm not necessarily opposed to that if it works, right? And I think we can get this to work. Let's talk about this choppy beach wave. So the beach wave is just an unstructured, choppy, separated, almost air dried look. And then it has been texturized on the ends as well. That gives it a wispy appeal. And it gives it a really pretty wispy movement. I love the word wispy to describe the wave and to describe the bangs on this shag style. It really, really works. The only thing that's holding back the movement is this heavy layer of PERMATEASE. That's a soft, thick, pillowy layer of PERMATEASE on every square inch of this cap. I feel like that impedes the movement a little bit. I also feel like it would be unnecessary to have that much. Now this is heat-friendly fiber, but I must caution you that there's no heat appliance in the world that is going to eliminate PERMATEASE. Now, I prefer to use the heat from my hand to shrink it, meaning I heat up my hands, I go in under the fiber, and against that PERMATEASE layer, I just press. The heat from my hand and the heat from my scalp kind of sandwich that springy fiber that's called PERMATEASE, and it shrinks it. It brings down the profile a little bit. However, that's not permanent. I'm not permanently altering it. There's no way to safely remove PERMATEASE. If you get in there with steam, if you get in there with a hairdryer and alter that PERMATEASE in any way, you're going to mess up the style. The style will not be the same. So in the styling segment, I am going to show you how to work with this PERMATEASE in style to fit your needs and preferences. We'll also take an outdoor look at this color and inside of the cap. Here's a look at the inside of the cap for Tressallure Flawless Waves. This is their open cap design. It's beautifully constructed, very sturdy cap. You've got that velvet piece in the front running temple to temple. This gives you a really nice soft effect right there at the hairline. A nice hidden weft applied to the front to give you a realistic look. Then you've got some open wefts on the top, sides, and back. A closed velvet ear tab, lots of fiber sewn into that ear tab. Wonderful coverage. You have an extended felted nape with Velcro style adjusters, which is a really nice touch. There's a little bit of stretch on this style. This is most appropriate for average size. I did cinch it in just a tad to accommodate a petite average circumference. I would have no way of measuring for a large. This style is right out of the box. I didn't use any product in it. Basically, I just tried it on, swirled around to let the fiber free, and set it on a wig rack until this review. So let's go ahead and try with glasses. Okay, so there's so much PERMATEASE right there above the temple that it may be difficult to wear glasses comfortably unless maybe you tuck the arm up underneath the ear tab or hook it into a weft in the back. I just feel like maybe they feel a little insecure because they're kind of pushed out there at the temple. So you can get gobs and gobs of volume on this style. As you can imagine, that PERMATEASE is going to support that. So, I mean, it depends. If your preference is to wear big hair, and you don't mind that, this is going to give you lots and lots of options. So when I first took it out of the box and put it on, there was a persistent forward movement in the bang. All right. But there was just so much poof and volume on the top that I really struggled with, gosh, what can I do? What can I do to make this into something that I can wear? I mean, when I come back on it, you can really see that very big volume there on the top. That is a little overwhelming for my face shape, okay? So what I decided to do was get in there with the heat of my hands, as I explained, and sandwich that PERMATEASE just to shrink it up a bit. Now this shakes right out, so at the end of the day, when you take it off, just shake it out really well. That PERMATEASE will spring right back up. You're not permanently altering it, you're just taking it down a notch. So the other thing that I did to help balance this for my face shape is the bangs. So I pulled the bangs down, just that front layer, and then I used the heat from my hands to build a little bit of volume and lift right there at the front, just behind that first layer. Now you're thinking to yourself, well, Taz, I thought you wanted to reduce the volume. My goal here is to manage and balance the volume. So by adding just a little bit of lift there at the front, the rest of the volume almost looks intentional. Not an afterthought. It doesn't look like I'm trying to beat it back, but it's still just springing up there. Just create a little bit of volume right there at the front. Gives me a little more balance. And it's impossible for me to see into this camera today. Just the way the light is hitting and so forth. So can you see that? So just add a little bit of lift right at the front, okay, while trying to shrink that around the rest of the crown. The other thing that you want to do is to shrink it a little bit there on the sides. And there's a lot of ways you can do that. First of all, we're just shrinking it with the heat of our hands against the heat from our head, okay? Look how that shrank that up a little bit. Instantly gives you a little bit of a lower profile on the sides, right? Now, I love how this feathers back into an ear tuck. Those ear tucks are essential, and on shags, that's how I prefer to wear shag styles a lot of the time. Okay, can you see how it's kind of coming to life? Last thing you want to do is smash it down all over, okay? You want to make sure the fibers are sprung free while managing that PERMATEASE. So, I mean, volume is fine in the back because that looks intentional, like I say. But when it's all over and you get this mushroom head effect, it really, really tells people that this might be fake hair, right? A lot of you are very sensitive to that. I just know what I like around my face. I don't care if anybody spots it as a wig so much, but if the volume isn't working for me, I just cannot wear it. So this is how I'm managing it for now.